Oh my, a bunch of you here already.
Hello, Mrs. Jager.
Hi, Mr. Barclay. How are you?
I'm Sugar.
Hi, Miles. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Ethan.
Jager.
How are you guys? Oh my God, there's a bunch of you. Look at that.
Hello, Mrs. Jager.
So if you guys put the panel onto gallery view, then it will allow you to see most of the people. You'll have to flick through pages. But at the top right-hand corner, it's the speaker view or gallery view. Put it in gallery view. Thumbnails like the Brady Bunch, really. Okay. And when you come into the meeting, you're muted. And at some point, I'm going to mute all of you when I figure out when our special guest gets here.
Can you force mute people? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I can. Also, today, Miles, that I can not only force mute you, but I can make you muted ever.
Oh my God. Oh.
I know. It's good stuff, man.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy.
I'm a teacher. I'm going to do that all the time.
Like that. I can mute all of you. Well, I can also do this. Now try it, Miles. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself right now, but for those of you that, I think most of you were here on Monday, you know that when you have your sound on, we get tons of feedback. Also, we can hear all the little things that are happening on your screen, which can be annoying. If you do not have video on your device, then there's something wrong with the way you're using your Chromebook, because they all have video. And I actually do want to see your faces, and so do your friends. So please enable your video for those of you that do not have that on, okay? And let me just tell you really quickly what we're going to be doing today. First, we have a special guest joining us. That person is not here yet. I set up another special guest for Monday that I'm pretty excited about. That person you'll find out about on Monday. And a couple things. The chat's going to be shut down because it was being used for things that were not necessarily what we need them to be used for. So the chat will be shut down as soon as we get lots of people here. Oh my gosh. My husband is going on to a Zoom meeting right now too in the other room. I talked to Mr. Cordfine this morning, and he said at his house, there were 4 people on Zoom calls at the same time yesterday. He was on a Zoom call, his wife was on a Zoom call, his 2 daughters were both on Zoom calls. It's insane. Anyway, so once the special guest arrives, we will give the spotlight to that person and let that person do what they want to do. After we finish with that, I'm going to go through a couple little troubleshooting things with you, because I saw a couple things happening that I think you need help with. And then we're going to do March Madness. We have to do the final Elite 8 between, what are the poems we have to do them between? Elite 8, between the Still We Rise and After Second Shift. And then we have one more stage poem that we're going to be doing. And we'll be doing that as well, okay? So that we're not going to spend... somebody's alarm's going off. That's definitely not weird. We have one more stage poem, and then we'll have to do our final voting for the championship rounds. And then we're done with March Madness, and we're going to move into something else afterwards, okay? Pretty sure that's not my house that's beeping. Let me mute everybody and then see. That got rid of it. So whoever's alarm is beeping, you should only hear it in your room now. Okay. So I'm going to spotlight our special guest, and I'm going to mute everybody so nobody can unmute yourselves. And that is so that we can allow our special guest to talk. Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to do a quick introduction of who we have because I don't know that any of you have ever seen her face before. It's possible. I mean, to be honest, I don't pay attention to people's faces, not like musicians that I like. I don't know what they look like. I have no idea. And my husband goes, so-and-so. I'm like, no, I totally did it. And I feel like authors are kind of, oh, she's an author, if you didn't already figure that out.
Is somebody hiding under the blankets? Looks like someone's hiding under a blanket. Kristen.
That's just lame. I have muted them all so nobody can unmute themselves so that we have the spotlight for a few minutes. First of all, this is a person who lives on the East Coast. You're in New York, right?
Yes.
New York. Okay. So it's 3, and I'm going to turn this chat off now too. Hang on. No one can chat. There we go. Okay. Oh, Aston figured it out. Nice. Good job, Aston. Aston, you are correct. It is Barbara Dee. I want to tell you a couple things about her before I turn things over to her. I've met Barbara Dee a couple times now at conferences, and we've had many Twitter conversations. And I love her books, and some of you also love her books. She is supposed to be in Texas tomorrow, and I'm assuming you're not going to Texas tomorrow? Barbara, can you hear me?
No. The Texas Literary Association annual conference was canceled.
Yeah, I figured it might be.
Yeah,
that's a bummer. You were talking about something there, though. I saw your topic on your website, and your topic was dismantling the patriarchy, girl power in new middle grade fiction, which, oh my God, I want to hear your speech so bad.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do something like online and present that information online somewhere?
We submitted a proposal to TLA asking if they wanted us to do it online, and we haven't heard anything, so I don't know. We did the same panel at NCTE in Baltimore.
Right, which I didn't go to. I skipped NCTE this year. Baltimore was too far for me.
Oh, well, you know, we may be doing it again if there ever are conferences again.
Yay, such optimism. So let me show you all of Barbara Dee's books that I have. I don't have some of her really, really early ones, but Truth or Dare is one that I actually just read, and Barbara made fun of me for being so far behind, but it's been on my to-read list forever. Star-Crossed, I know some of you have read, great book. Barbara, one of the 8th graders that wanted to come in, I sent you her email. I don't know if you got
it. That was so sweet.
Yeah, from Stowe. So Stowe was supposed to be here, but she has a history meeting. I told her to pop in if the history meeting ends, so she might pop in.
If she can, I hope so.
Yeah, and Star-Crossed is one of my favorites. Halfway Normal, I know a lot of you have read.
I'm sorry, I cleared that last bit.
About Star-Crossed being one of my favorites. Am I freezing or are you freezing?
Your the audio is going in and out.
Okay. For me, it's going in and out because for you, I'm seeing you freezing.
Okay.
Okay. We'll make it work. Halfway Normal, which I know a lot of you have read. Everything I Know About You, which I know a lot of you have read. And her latest, and one of my favorites, is Maybe He Just Likes You. Fantastic book. I know a lot of you have also read this book. I was lucky to get a grant from Landmark Vineyards and pick up 18 extra copies. So I have a box full of them in my shed, which is doing none of you any good, unfortunately. So I have I have Barbara pretty frozen here. How about you guys? I don't see you guys frozen. It looks like she's maybe gonna log out and try to log back in. I don't know if Barbara Dee is logging out and logging in right now or not. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking for specific people right now that I know have read a whole bunch of her books, and I'm pinning them. Sorry, you guys. Technical difficulties. If you see your face popping up on the screen, it's because I'm pinning your video because I know that you've read a bunch of Barbara Dee books. There's Jarrett. Hi, Jarrett. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Let's see. So it looks to me like Barbara is trying to figure out her technical difficulty. So hopefully she'll come back on. I don't know. Oh, there she is. Can you hear us, Barbara? I can't hear you at all. Wait. There we go. Try again.
I am unmuted by host. It says.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry. The worst host on the planet.
And now it's telling me that my internet connection is unstable.
Yay.
So you may lose me again.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be patient.
Okay. So how many kids are on this?
Right now we have 63.
Oh, wow. I'm only seeing Ethan and Kristen.
If you click gallery view up at the top right-hand corner, that will give you everyone, and you can scroll through the pages. You guys wave. Wave at Barbara. Say hi. Give her a thumbs up if you've read her books.
Hi. I'm only seeing a few faces, so they're coming on one by one.
Oh, it's probably because of your internet.
Yeah. I'm seeing Eva and Dylan and Helena and Lily and Emma, Brianna, Jasmine, Chelsea, Limbert, Victor, Angelica, Miles, and a dog.
And
Ian,
a dog.
Daniel, Camilla, Isabella, Samuel, Yehuda. I think I said Eva already. Ian. Okay. Penelope. And did I say Jasmine? I think I said Jasmine. Yeah. Okay. Wow, and there are more.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Wow.
There's a lot. This is almost my whole class. We're missing about 5 people.
A lot of kids. Wow. Well, it's great that we can do this. I'm really happy that we can do this. It's a little weird, but it's kind of cool too, right? So, do any of you have questions for me?
So if you have questions, here's what you guys should do. I have the participants tab up. If you click participants at the bottom of your screen, when you go over to the participants, you should be able to, I'm not gonna allow you to unmute yourself because that's gonna be annoying. I thought there was, somebody go to your participants tab and you should have a little hand mark and it says raise hand. Yep, there we go. Mia just did it. if you have a question for Barbara, if you can raise your hand on there, there's a whole bunch of people. I will unmute you so that you can ask your question. Okay, James, you're up first. Go. James, you're unmuted. Okay, James.
I'm not hearing a question.
Nope, James is having technical difficulty. Bree, I'm going to unmute you. Go, Bree.
What made you want to start writing books?
I couldn't understand the question. Could
She
you?
asked, what made you want to start writing books? Did you hear that, Barbara? Did we lose her again? Oh, I think we lost her again.
It's about a boy who.
This is what happens when you try to do things online. I'm trying to find Bree right now. So I'm gonna talk until we get Barbara back on. If you guys can go onto that Google form again and do that virtual roll call for me at some point today, that would be great. I'm gonna give you some March Madness stuff at the end of this, but the first thing that we have to do is decide between Second Shift by Lowell Jaeger or Jaeger and Monday's Still We Rise by Maya Angelou. So that's the first thing we'll have to figure out. Let me see if we've got Barbara back. I still don't see her. I don't know if she can hear us talking or not either. I thought this would work better. Aston, what's your question?
My question for Barbara was, how many books has she written?
How many books has she written?
Yes.
I believe the answer to that is 11, but I don't know where she is right now. Let me see who else has questions. And then you can unraise your hand after you've asked your question. James, what's your question? We're still having audio issues with you, James. Okay, we got her back.
Hi.
Hi, Barbara.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
So
I was showing you my first work when I was.
Oh. Wow, I did not think this would be this terrible.
Was there another question?
Aston wanted to know how many books you've written.
Well, maybe is my 10th book. And I will show you a sneak preview of my next book, which is coming out in September. Okay?
Yes.
Here it is. This is the next book, My Life in the Fish Tank. I really like the cover. Can you see the cover art?
Yes, the cover is so cool.
Isn't it? Yeah. So this will be out in September. And I just finished the first draft of my book that's coming out in 2021. and I am signing a contract for my book, which will come out in 2022. So I'm still writing more books.
Oh, man. Do you think you could read us a couple pages of My Life in the Fish Tank?
Oh boy. I haven't shared this with anyone yet. But I'm not sure you're going to understand this, but I'm just opening up to a chapter called No Month, No Date, No Time. This is a story about a family that is thrown into chaos because there are 4 kids in the family, and the oldest kid in the family is a boy who is in college, and something has happened to him while he's in college that they're trying to get their head around. And the book is about how the oldest son's diagnosis of a mental illness affects the whole family, because the oldest son is sent away to a residential treatment center, which is kind of like a hospital. And the parents tell the other kids in the family to keep it from everybody else. And the main character is a 12-year-old girl named Zinni, who thinks that she's being told to keep it a secret, which means she has to keep it a secret from her best friends, from everyone at school. And she's feeling really confused and upset that she has to keep her brother's situation a secret. So this is when they're first finding out the news about her brother, what happened to him. And it's very short. She says, "Sometimes I think we should have different systems for telling time. I mean, like one system for when you go to school, hang out with your friends, play soccer on weekends, blah, blah, blah. We could call it something like normal standard time. But there would also be another system, another calendar completely for when things get weird or when bad things happen, like now, right? Because one thing you notice when those bad things happen is that calendars and clocks stop making any sense. Even if they still work okay, even if the batteries are good and the cords are all plugged in and all you need to do is turn the page and on the cute rescue dog of the month calendar that's hanging on the fridge, they don't communicate anything useful or even anything your brain can understand. At least that's how it seemed at our house. It was like after it happened with my brother, we were in a different time from everyone else, a different time zone, a parallel universe. And we needed some kind of new time. And there are a lot of flashbacks. Some of it's just regular fiction, but it has different styles. It's different, but I think my books, and this will be out in September.
And I definitely already pre-ordered it.
Just me again? Oh, cool.
Miles, you had a question. Did that, I guess the question went away since you unraised your hand. If you guys have a question, raise your hand. Looks like the internet's spotty again right now. All right, Miles, what's your question?
It's not really as I had a It's not really that I had a question. It's just that halfway through Barbara reading her part, she just froze. I couldn't.
Yeah, that's her. That's not us. I think she's back now. Whoop! Come on, spotlight, go. Where'd she go? There she is. It won't even let me spotlight her right now. Mason, what's your question?
I just had a question.
Yep.
How, in your opinion, how hard is it to write so many books and so many like series and stuff like that? Is that like tough in your opinion?
Are you asking me or are you asking Barbara?
Barbara.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure her video's on right now. Hang on. It looks like she popped back out again. I think a better way to ask that question would be like, what did it take for you to write a certain book? Like, how long did you spend on it? What was the process on that? Because I think that's such a vague question to ask someone, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions? And then when she pops back in, we'll sorry. I didn't know that the audio would be so terrible. Okay, is that her back? Can't tell. Those of you that have read a bunch of her books, do you guys have stuff you want to ask her? Oh, there she is. She's back.
I'm back.
There she is. Spotlight. There we go.
So I was being asked. This is crazy, right?
Yeah, sorry.
I was being asked before about how hard is it to write so many different books?
Oh, you did hear
and
the
it's
question.
it's very hard because I'm really writing a book and then can you hear me? Is the audio working?
We can hear you, but it's breaking up a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to answer. It's hard to keep all these different stories in my head and to keep them all separate and not be repeating myself. So sometimes once you finish writing a book, it kind of goes out of your head and you have to sort of look at it again to remind yourself what it's about so you aren't repeating yourself. It's tricky.
Vita, what's your question?
I was wondering, is it like hard to come up with a story? Because you said that you were making like a book every year, kind of. Is it hard for you to write a book in 1 year?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes longer than a year to write a book. Some people take 1.5 years or 2 years to write a book, or even longer than that. For Maybe He Just Likes You, I wrote it so fast. I wrote it in like 6 weeks, which is crazy. Nobody writes that fast. I never write that fast, but it just came out of me very, very quickly. And other books are more struggles where, you know, you're really working uphill every day. Every book is different. There isn't like a secret formula that once you know it, you just write. Every book is different.
Charlie, what's your question?
Where do you pick your topic? Like, where do you get your topics from for your book?
Well, Maybe He Just Likes You was in the news. I mean, in the spring of 2018, all you heard about were the Me Too stories. And I just thought, is there a middle grade book about this? And I was shocked when I realized there really wasn't. So that just sort of came to me because it was in the news. A lot of these stories have some personal connection to me. If you've read Halfway Normal, you know that my son had cancer a few years ago. And so that sort of prompted that story, because one of the doctors said to me, you know, there isn't a book about a kid who had cancer and then recovered and went back to school. And we really need a book like that. So I wrote Halfway Normal, even though it wasn't based on my son. And in a way, My Life in the Fish Tank is more personal. It's not about cancer, but it is really about a family's reaction to the oldest son's being ill. In this case, it's a mental illness, but it's the same sort of thing where the whole family is trying to deal with it. And so that was the personal connection for that story. In Everything I Know About You, which is about an eating disorder, I had an eating disorder when I was in college. So that was the personal connection I had with that story. So, you know, a lot of times these stories come from personal connections, but I don't write autobiographies, so they're not really, you know, all about me. There's a lot of imagination that goes into the mix. But I always have my ears open for other stories. Let me ask you guys, is there a story that you told?
And we're frozen again. I only heard, is there a story that you, that's all I heard. You guys, the raising your hands is working great, by the way.
There aren't.
Oh, there she is. No. Nope. So when you raise your hands, it pops up to the very top for me, just FYI. Barbara's frozen again. Barbara, if you can hear me, all we heard was, is there a story that you? Okay, while we're waiting for her, if you have a question about the work that I assigned you, I saw a bunch of your work already, and oh my God, there's some great poems. A couple of your really great coronavirus poems. Camden, yours made me laugh out loud. Lindbear, go ahead.
Is there a code for the Flipgrid to get into it?
You should be able to get there by clicking the link.
Am I still?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
So we heard you say, is there a story that, and then it cut out.
Maybe there isn't another book about, or that there aren't any books.
I'm gonna repeat what I think you're asking. I think what you're asking is there a story that you've never read a book about that you want to read about? Like the Me Too movement was a perfect timing and a great story to tell, especially for middle grade. I think that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you have something in your mind, Lindbear, I don't know if that's why your hand's still raised or if it's a question about school stuff. Is there a story that you have never been able to find, but you know you want to read about? Like for me, the idea of self-harm is something that I see a lot of middle schoolers going through, my own daughter included, when she was in middle school. And I haven't seen a middle grade that really addresses self-harm yet. I keep trying to get my daughter to write it, but she refuses.
Any other ideas?
James, is your audio working now? Oops. James, is your audio working now? Isabella? Bella B, go ahead.
Something like a school, kind of like it's a school where there's a bunch of kids with either disorders or special symptoms, or they're just different from others, where it's like a type of school like that, and it's like going on into any type of story. Really, that's all.
Could you repeat the ending? I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Any type of story just based on a school with people who have disorders and are different from others.
That's very, very interesting, yeah. Any other ideas?
James, did you get your audio working yet? James has his hand up. Let me see if I can get him to type it. I don't know if you can type it or not. I know your next one that's coming out deals with mental illness. What can you tell us? One of the things that my kids did was the very first article of the week they read for homework this school year was your blog post about the difference between middle grade and YA fiction, because I was trying to teach them the differences between them so that they could choose books and know what they were doing. So they've all read some of your work, albeit a blog post. Mateo, what's your question?
That like more Harry Potters.
You want Barbara to write Harry Potter? That's a weird request, Mateo. She's not J.K. Rowling. Uh-oh. Okay, we lost her altogether. This is super frustrating. James, can you say something? Hi, guys. Okay, James's audio is not working, and he keeps raising his hand, but it's not working. Okay. Oh, she's back again.
I am unmuted by you.
There you go. Sorry. Ah, I don't see you pop up until I scroll down.
Okay.
So Mateo wants to know why you're not J.K. Rowling, apparently. He wants to know if you write like a Harry Potter style book. So I guess the question really is, have you ever dabbled in fantasy? Is that something you're interested in?
The only such dabbling is in my very first book, Just Another Day in My Insanely Real Life. The main character takes her family life and turns it into a fantasy novel for her 7th grade English teacher. And then so she writes it up like a fantasy novel because she's obsessed with fantasy fiction. And then she thinks that he isn't reading it because one day she hands him 12 pages and he writes 12 on it, like he's just counting the number of pages that she's written. And so she gets very offended because she's really working hard on this fantasy novel. And so she decides, well, if all he's doing is counting the number of pages, I could just write anything. And so she starts writing all these crazy lists on, she thinks, you know, I'm just filling pages, so here you go. And of course, well, I don't want to give too much away, but but to write that, I had to read a lot of fantasy novels. That was my research for that book. And it just made me appreciate that that's not my genre. That's not my writing. Even though I was able to, you know, write enough so that I could show you her fantasy novel. It's not mine. So, you know,
Okay.
we just all have our own styles.
Yeah. Aiden, Jay, what's your question?
I don't have a question. I'm just trying to let you know that James is asking to type his.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, let's see if I can get that to happen. Okay, James, try it now. What happened? We lost. There we go. Sorry, we lost Barbara as the spotlight. We can still hear you, Barbara, even if we lose the spotlight.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm waiting for James to type a question, but he's not typing. I'm not sure what's happening.
It's fine.
Oh, there it is. Dystopian, where what people think are good guys are bad. Are you asking if...
It's crazy.
Yeah, if she is interested in dystopian literature. She writes realistic fiction, you guys. That's what she writes. And she takes like everyday problems that people have and makes them middle grade. Like that's what she does, and she's fantastic at it.
Mrs. Jager.
Yes.
What I was saying was like she should make a different series, but like it. Like I know she's not J.K. Rowling, but like a different one. Yeah.
Remember, Mateo, remember when we talked to Gay Paulsner and she said she's not a series writer? That's not what she does. She writes individual books. Some people are series writers and that's what they do. And other people write a book and it is a standalone story. And that's, I believe, Barbara, correct me, I believe that's what Barbara does. And she's frozen again. Hi, Mr. Barclay.
Hi.
How are you?
I have a question for Barbara Dee. I'm sorry.
She's a bit frozen right now on my screen. I'm assuming she's frozen on your guys' screen too.
Yes, she is frozen on her screen.
Go ahead and ask, because I think she can still hear us.
Sure. I would like to know whether or not she started writing novels right away, like full-fledged novels, or she started writing smaller stories first and then developed into full novels.
Whether or not she started.
Were you able to hear that question, Barbara? Okay, she's frozen again. Sorry, guys. Sebastian, what's your question? Sebastian, we're not hearing your audio.
To publish your book.
Oh, I can barely hear you, Sebastian. Can you get closer to the microphone?
how hard would it be to publish your books?
Wow, this is really frustrating. Okay. I wonder if there's a better way to do this. You just keep popping in and out. Oh, no. I wonder if turning off video would help. Mateo, do you still have a question?
No.
Okay. Miles, what's your question?
I don't have a question. It's just I wanted to say that yes, the turning the video off would definitely help.
You think so?
Yeah, it for me, I turn it off when my bit rate goes low.
Okay. Let me see if I can stop video and just do audio. Barbara?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay.
So why don't we try that for a minute, and you won't
Sure.
be able to see your face, but
Sure.
Okay, because I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, great. What was the question?
So one of the questions was, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Can you guys that ask questions raise your hand again so I can?
Was it about how hard it is to get published?
Yes, how hard it is to get published was one of them.
Okay, it's very hard to get published. Extremely hard. It's very, very competitive. Publishers are taking fewer books all the time, and you do need an agent. I know some authors who don't have agents, but most of them do. And it's hard to get an agent. So you have to be very, very persistent, and you have to deal with a lot of rejection. You have to be okay with that. You have to say, okay, I'm in it for the long haul, and if I can't get an agent, I'll go to another agent. Or if this editor doesn't like my work, I'll submit to another editor, and just keep at it. Because if you give up with the first rejection, that's it. You'll never do it. You have to be very persistent. It's hard.
Mr. Barclay, what was your question again?
Hi. Yeah. My question was, did you start writing novels right away, or did you do short fiction first, or was there kind of a lead up to that?
Well, I showed you my the book I wrote when I was 5.
Oh yeah, it's on your website.
Yeah. I always wrote. I kept journals for a lot of years when I was in middle school. And then there was a long period where I didn't write anything, or what I wrote were legal briefs when I was a lawyer. When I was a stay-at-home mom, I wrote a lot of book reviews. I reviewed for Publishers Weekly and Kirkus, as a matter of fact. And that was a good way to keep my writing juices flowing. But when I decided that I wanted to try to write a book for kids, I wrote a short novel, like around 80 pages long, just to see if I could do it. And I read it to my daughter, who was probably about 7 at the time. And I said, "Can I read you something?" And she said, I read it to her, and she said, that's kind of good. Who wrote it? And I said, "Actually, I wrote it." And she said, "Oh, you should try to get it published." And it wasn't good enough to get published. It was a, it was a short novel. It was a first draft, but her reaction told me that maybe I was onto something. So I wrote a book about a boy who was obsessed with trading card games like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, which was really hot. And I submitted it to a bunch of publishers, and I got reactions that were rejections, but with a lot of encouragement. So it just made me realize that, you know, something about my voice was working. And so I wrote another book, and it was Just Another Day in My Insanely Real Life, and it got published. And I've been working very hard ever since. So I didn't have a long period where I was trying different kinds of writing. I kind of just jumped into it head first and really had success pretty early.
Boy, turning off the video really helps. We
Oh, good.
heard all of that, none of it cut out. So if you do this with any other teachers, no video. Do you guys have any other questions? I know there were a couple people who asked questions when the video was popping in and out, and I don't know that you got the answers. So raise your hand again if you have something you want to ask. Or if you just want to say, hey, I read this book and here's what I thought of it. Because a lot of you have read her stuff. Riley, what's your question? Riley, I'm going to turn off your video. Try it again. We can't hear you at all, Riley.
What was the trading card book called? Trading card book, is that what you said? What was it called?
Battling Demons.
Battling Demons?
Battling, Battling.
Battling Demons. Riley's writing it down. Attaboy.
It wasn't very good, I have to say, but it was my first full-length book.
Huh.
Yeah, not everything you write, you know, ends up being publishable, but it's all worthwhile because you end up recycling stuff, you end up using it in other books, or just, you know, getting better at your work. So it's never wasted, even if it doesn't get published.
I have a couple people who've read just about every book that I have of yours in my classroom library. Ida, Ava, Genevieve, Mia's read a couple, Jarrett's read a couple. Do you guys have anything you want to say to her as far as, like, you know, your opinions or your thoughts, or, you know, which of those books was your favorite maybe? Here's Jarrett.
I have to say that I think my favorite book from Barbara would be Halfway Normal.
Halfway Normal?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I just liked how she kind of wasn't just going through it. She actually felt different emotions and used all sorts of, I don't know, I really liked it.
I'm glad. That's a book that's very close to my heart. It's very important to me. And when I wrote that last scene, I was just crying. And I even, now talking about it, I'm choking up. It's a very emotional book for me. But one of the things I like about it is that it's about how in some ways kids are tougher than adults. And there aren't a lot of books about that. But I think that character Nora is tougher than a lot of the adults in her life. And she's, you know, her attitude about her illness is really, really tough. And she's very resilient and realistic. And all the adults, you know, want to tell her, oh, it's all behind you, you know, and some of them are even afraid to say the word cancer. And she isn't. you know, and she's just like the Persephone myth. She's embracing her whole experience, everything she's been through, and is saying, "This is who I am." And I just think that's a really, really profound thing. So I really am proud of that book.
Jasmine, what did you want to say?
So I was wondering where we could find the book Battling Demons.
Which book?
Battling
Demons? Oh, it didn't get published. It's just my first book. I just wrote it up and I sent it around, and it never got published.
So they can't find it.
No.
Sorry, guys. See, you have an audience for unpublished work. We have a D&D club and kids that are really passionate about D&D. Jasmine, was there something else?
No.
Now that people know you, you should try to get it published.
Advice from Mateo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll look into it. Just so you know, all three are obsessed with D&D. So we have a real D&D house.
That got cut out. Can you repeat that, Barbara? Because we didn't hear any of that. It got cut out.
Hear me now?
We were doing so well.
You hear me?
No, it's cutting out now for some reason, the audio.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So annoying.
I was saying that three of my kids are obsessed with D&D, so we're a real D family.
I didn't understand what she said.
Well, again, can you hear me now?
It's cutting in and out. I can hear you every now and then, just like a couple words, and then it cuts out.
I was saying that of my kids. So, can you hear that?
Oh, I can hear you again now, just now.
Okay, what I was saying is that three of my kids are obsessed with D&D. So, we're a D&D family. The D's are D&D family.
Oh, you're a D&D family. I heard that. Raise your hand if you're a D&D family or a D&D fan. Oh, it's funny. Okay, do you guys have any other questions for Barbara? No? Okay, I'm gonna put, oh, did we lose her? Oh, I think we lost her. I'm gonna, I don't know if she'll pop back in or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and start some English stuff. If you haven't done your virtual roll call, please click over and do that. It's on PowerSchool. It's at the bottom of the page. And, oh, there she is. She's back.
Yes.
There you are.
Lost me, but.
There we go. We gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, and I can actually hear you again.
Okay, good. Oh, boy.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, welcome to online learning. It's super fun.
Oh, I'm sure it must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to take any more of your time up. I really appreciate you doing this with us, and I'm sorry for all the technical issues.
Maybe we could try it again some other time.
Yeah. We may have school again someday.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be
Do you think,
something? We'll
do you
see.
think you'll have it the rest of this school year?
Personally, I don't. I would be surprised. I'm in one of those 7 counties in the San Francisco Bay Area that put a shelter in place in first before anybody. So I haven't left my house since last Saturday.
Yeah, my son is in Berkeley.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're very focused on California.
Yeah, he's sheltered too. Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun.
Yep.
Aiden, do you have a question?
Well, I just had something to say about going back to school. The governor's pretty much said that we're not going to go back to school for the rest of the year.
Yeah, pretty sure that's going to be official.
Also, I'm pretty sure Soph has a question.
Soph, you're on. Let me find you. Raise your hand, Soph. Not raise your hand physically. Raise your hand on the participant screen. Go to participants and then raise your hand. Lily, go ahead.
Okay, so Marin schools have already been canceled.
They have?
Till May, because my sister's in Marin school. And so I had to go in shelter too, but now I'm with my mom. So fun times.
So much fun. All right,
Well,
here's Soph.
You guys have a lot of time to read. So
yeah, except they don't have my classroom library. It's heartbreaking. Hi, Soph.
Hi.
Soph is the one that I sent you the email on, Barbara.
Oh, yes.
So
Hi.
here she is. Let me pin her so you can see her. There she is. Hi, Soph.
I'm really happy to meet you. Hi.
Happy to meet you too. So I was wondering what inspired you to write Everything I Know About You?
Well, I had an eating disorder when I was in college, and I was reading an article about how more kids in middle school are getting eating disorders now. It used to be that it was mostly high school and college age, young women, and now it's not just girls, and it is getting younger. And that was really upsetting to me to find out. So I had a long talk with a social worker who is a therapist for kids with eating disorders. And most of her patients are in middle school. And, you know, I wanted to write a book that was, that took the topic seriously, but that was also fun to read. You know, it had, I didn't want to write a book that was upsetting, but so this is a book about friendship and what we owe each other. And I also felt that politically it was important to write a book about what our country is about. So that's why I said it in Washington, D.C. on a school trip to Washington, D.C. is they're thinking about what our connection is to each other. What do we owe each other, even if we're not friends? And so the book is about, like, if you know someone who has a problem, an eating disorder or anything else, like what do you owe that person? How do you help that person, especially if you're not even friends with that person?
Yeah, your book inspired me actually to get help for my eating disorder, and I'm going to see an eating disorder consultant.
I don't know. Barbara, did you hear that? I don't know if we lost her again.
It's okay.
Okay, I see that, James. James says he wants a sci-fi science fiction. And I feel like we might have lost Barbara's audio again. Because I definitely do not hear her. Yeah, you're cutting out again. We lost you for quite some time, and now you're cutting out again. Boy. Didn't think this would be so annoying.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. So James wants to know if you've ever thought about writing a dystopian realistic fiction or something with AI.
Okay. I haven't. But you know, I'm just open for new ideas, and I'm always want to challenge notes. I will in the future, but I haven't until now.
Well, there you go. There's an idea. Okay, Barbara, I'm gonna let you get out of here because boy, this is a lot. You guys, I'm gonna unmute you so you can say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my
Bye.
God.
Bye. 71 people are unmuted.
Bye.
Bye.
71 people who are all trapped in their homes, and then you unmute them. It's like the wild animals. Oh, Barbara got muted too. Ah, there we go. Okay. I unmuted you. Sorry. Oh, okay.
Stay in touch, and maybe we can try this again some other time.
Okay.
You know, in fall when things are back to normal or whatever.
Yeah.
But just stay.
I will. And you guys, if you want to contact her, I'll put her email up on Power School for you, and I'll also put her social media contacts up. You can find her through her website as well. Okay, thanks, Barbara.
Great. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, I'm gonna go into English stuff, guys. So let's see. I don't have a ton of stuff I want to do with you today, but first I want to open it up for questions as far as the work that I assigned for you. So I'm going to turn on the chat. This is for you to chat with me. So right now you can send me a message if you have a question about whatever work is happening right now, and if you want me to turn on your audio, do the hand raising thing because that's working nicely. So if you have a question about current work, like the stuff that you're doing online, you can either type it or you can raise your hand and I will see you pop up on the screen. That is working quite nicely. So first question is, where do you find the attendance sheet? So I'm going to show you where you can find the attendance sheet right now. So if you go into, hang on, let me share my screen. Sorry. If you go into Power School, and I'm probably not going to be logged in right now, so let me look. If you go into Power School and you go into, pretty sure it's on the Sequoia page, right? Isn't that where I put it? On the RVCS Sequoia page. Eventually I'm going to stop using that RVCS Sequoia page, but for right now that is being used. And you go to the 7th grade ELA and go all the way down to the bottom. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. 7th grade ELA. There we go. And scroll down on 7th grade ELA to the bottom. There's the virtual roll call down there. Okay. So that's the first thing. Let me see what the other questions were. That's attendance. What are we supposed to do for the writing project? Is that, I'm assuming that's on the asynchronous sharing? James, can you clarify? Part A. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Virtual roll call. It's completely blank, not allowing me. Could not find the Newsella. Okay. Boy, there's a lot of questions. Okay. Let me address Mia first. Uh, yes, I think so. Mia's asking if I'm going to give you all your work on Monday, like I did this week, like the 3 things you need to do. I think so. I haven't actually planned out next week yet. I'm planning on getting on and looking at your videos and responding to your Flipgrid videos. I'm going to be super honest. This has been a big adjustment for me and for the rest of your teachers too. And we're all floundering a little bit. By the end of the day yesterday, my husband, because Town of Windsor, you know, he's the director, he's the town engineer in Windsor. He's like in charge of all the engineering projects. He and I looked at each other at the end of the day yesterday and I'm like, I am so tired. And he said, me too. And I mean, we were exhausted because we spent our whole day trying to work through technology issues and trying to figure out, you know, how to make our jobs work in this format. And it's really tiring. So I haven't even started planning out what I want to do with you next week. I haven't even started planning. The next couple weeks, and you probably heard this from your homeroom teacher if you had a homeroom check-in yesterday, the next 2 weeks are really very much, let's just do some review stuff. Let's just do some fun things. Let's not worry too much about serious academics. Odds are really good school's going to get canceled for the rest of the year, and we're going to be doing this all year long, which sucks. I'm going to tell you that if school, some of you know how I felt about last year. If school was canceled last year, I would have been so happy. I'm not going to lie. This year, I almost broke down and cried, and I don't cry because I miss you guys so much, and I miss seeing your faces, and I miss doing my job with you specifically because you guys are so cool. So there's a whole lot of questions popping up. Flipgrid, yes, you have to do a Flipgrid. You're going to do more than one Flipgrid because you're going to be doing your first Flipgrid, and then you're also going to be responding to other people's Flipgrids. You need to record yourselves, and if you're struggling with looking at the doc and the camera at the same time, that's okay. If you look at my read alouds that I've been doing, I've been looking at the book instead of at the camera, and that's okay. So if you do a side-by-side where you do 2 screens and have Flipgrid on one screen and your doc on the other, that's probably the easiest way to do it. Limbear, I don't know if I liked the choice menu. I liked giving you choices in what you had to do. There's 3 things on that chart you have to do, 1 for each row. I don't think that's too much for a week. And a lot of you have already done it. Oh, Oswaldo, I think you have a super good point. Oswaldo says, can you put all the stuff that's on the main English page in the RVCS Sequoia English page because it gets hard to go back and forth for both pages? Yes, I will move everything that's over on RVCS Sequoia over to English, and starting next week, I'm only going to use the English page. That wasn't my idea, and the other teachers felt the same way about it, that it was really complicated to have 2 different websites that we're using. I don't think that's best for you guys either, and I appreciate you noticing that too. Hang on, let me see if I've got all due dates. Aiden, see, honestly, due dates, oh, Bella C's asking this too, due dates. We were told for these next 2 weeks, this week and next week, to really keep things casual and we're not grading anything. That means if you don't get something done, your grade's not going to go down. None of the stuff that you're doing on that choice menu is going to be graded. I am going to read everything, respond to everything. I've been reading stuff as it's been posted. Some of the poetry's been great. It's brought joy to my heart. You have no idea. I haven't looked at Newsella yet. Those articles, you should be able to click that link and get straight to it. I hadn't assigned it when we first started, and then somebody reminded me to assign it. I forget who and when, but I did assign it afterwards, so you weren't able to get to that. I don't want you guys stressed out
And I really don't want you guys stressed out about due dates and about grades. I got 2 emails yesterday, one from a parent and one from a kid about grades, their PE grade. And I'm like, I finally responded. I said, can we just not worry about grades right now? You guys have enough to worry about. And boy, I have enough to worry about. I spent my entire day yesterday on email, answering emails, trying to get website stuff set up, trying to keep up with what you guys were doing. It was meeting with my homeroom. Like it's insane. I was more tired yesterday than I am after a day of teaching. Val, the links for the Newsella should be accessible through that slideshow. You should be able to click it and get to the link. If one of you has found a different solution to that and that's not what's happening, can you raise your hand so I can unmute you and you can explain? Okay, Aiden, go.
So what I did was I clicked on the link to the meeting or the news ELA, and I hit assignments and the articles were there.
Excellent. Okay, so on Newsella, you have an account, you click assignments. Thank you, Aiden, that's super helpful. Any other troubleshooting, raise your hand. And I'll unmute you. If we miss school for the rest of the year, will we still get our last report card? Yes. Kristen, I'm gonna unmute you in just a second after I answer Penelope's question, Isabella's question, sorry. If we miss school for the rest of the year, are you still gonna get your last report card? Yes. Here's what's going to happen, assuming school is canceled for the rest of the year, which I would actually be surprised if it's not. Remember I told you guys before spring break, I would be surprised if school resumes after spring break and told you to take all your stuff home. I would be really surprised if we end up going back to school in the classroom setting. But what's going to happen is that after next week, we're going to shift to a more academic model, and then things will resume being graded. So think of this week and next week as getting used to how to do school like this, because we're all getting used to it. And I mean, all of us. I was online. The teachers have been getting together. Today we had a coffee talk, and we sat and drank our coffee together on Zoom and talked through some stuff. So Oswaldo wants a quick overview of all the homework. I think that's a great idea. And then Emma D wants to see something about Flipgrid, and Ava wants to know about logging on to Newsella. Here's what I'd like to do. Aiden J, can you share your screen and log into Newsella and show everyone how to do that?
Sure.
Thank you, Aiden. Aiden is now the teacher.
You basically just click on the Sequoia page. You go to English, 7th grade, then you wait for Power School to load.
And Power School is having so many growing pains right now because they're seeing more activity than they've ever seen.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Okay, so I think the issue is that there isn't really a link here, so you have to go through Clever, or just type it in to your browser, and then you get there. So let me see if I can actually get a new tab.
You guys know how when you log in to do those AR tests that I don't make you do, but then we have to do the reading test and vocab test, how you go in through Clever and then you go to Renaissance Learning? Newsella has a link on Clever as well. And then we get to see all of Aiden's searches. So go to Newsella and then log in with Google, because when you log in with Google, it'll be through your school account, and that's where the assignment is. Aiden, this is really helpful.
So basically what you do is you start on Explore, like really? Okay. And then you go to assignments and you have your English assignments here, and then you have like old science stuff.
And you only have to do one of those.
Yeah, you only have to read one and do like the quiz and stuff.
Thanks, Aiden. Can you unshare your screen? Perfect. Wow, that was really great. Miles, go ahead.
So I don't, what Aiden said, is he saying that on the Power School page, the links in the slides weren't working?
No, I'm saying that there isn't a link for the Newsela.
Because for Newsela, you have to actually go to their website and then your assignments are there. So for me to link it wouldn't work. And I forgot that when I said go to the link. That was wrong. Aiden, what Aiden did was perfect. So on the left-hand column where it has your general directions, let me go to that screen. And I will add that to, I will take this whole page and add this whole page over to English 7 for you. So when you go to this doc, and you can look at it here, you can make it full screen. When you click on these links, the ones that have an underline, these are links. But on Newsela here, you have to actually go to Clever, log into Newsela, or just log into Newsela straight up like Aiden did. That worked too. Look at the 3 articles, choose one, and then read and complete the activity. That's all. Is that clear? Is that clear? Genevieve wants to see the book talk page. So let me go through some stuff online real quick, and then if you still have questions about online stuff, then I'll have you ask questions on the side. Okay, so first, this week's work is listed right here. The synchronous stuff is happening here. We're about to do our last poetry thing. I'm sorry, it's right here. I'm on the RVCS Sequoia page. Let me pull this chat up too so I can see what else people are asking. Flipgrid. I'm going to go through Flipgrid in a second. Okay. So what we're doing online is the synchronous work, and it's just March Madness. That's all. And your work is to vote. That's it. After we finish talking in a few minutes, I'm going to have you go in and vote for the, matter of fact, I'll make it live. Vote for the Elite 8, March 25, Elite 8. You're going to be voting between the, what's it called? Still We Rise and After Second Shift. That's what you're voting for on that one. Okay, let me get back to Power School. Okay, so that's the only work that's synchronous. The other stuff is all stuff you're supposed to be doing on your own. Now, I really want you to set up a group to work together, and I'm gonna make chat open for you at the very end of today so that you can set this up. I put this on Boost Homeroom. I think I also put it on English 7. To set up a learning group. A couple of you have already done it. There's a doc here that you can actually type live right on this doc. I've got 1, 2, Jasmine and Georgette, you need to be in a group with people. That's what a group is. So I want you guys to all have a group set up. If you want to make up a cool, goofy name for your group, I gave you an example of what your box should look like, and you can use any of these columns. So I made plenty of boxes for as many groups as there are. You can have as many people as you want, like this is a great group. This is the people that you want to do remote learning with, that you want to connect with online so that you can work together. Think of it just like if you're in a classroom and your teacher puts you in a group that you're working together with, except in this case, you can do really as many people as you want. And then when you have a question, you're like, hey, I can't find the Newsela articles, then you ask your learning group, where can I find those? So you're not waiting for me, okay? Now, if you want to talk to me, here's what you need to do. I shared a calendar with you that, let me see if I can just get that one calendar to show. Hang on. Let me get rid of that one. Let me get rid of the Sequoia one. Okay, I shared a calendar with you that has office hours on it. This got really confusing for some people because this is all new, remember? So like, I don't have a Zoom scheduled with all of you guys tomorrow or Friday. Our next Zoom meeting is on Monday, and I have another special guest. The next Zoom meeting is not until Monday. The link is here on the calendar, okay? So what you should do is go into your Gmail calendar and click Mrs. Jager. It'll be there. Put a little checkbox here, and then my calendar will show up with your calendar. You can even tell Google to send you a morning email that has your agenda of what you need to do that day in it. And that is saving me right now, let me tell you. So I set up these office hours. If you and your learning group, or just you, have questions for me that you can't figure out the answers to on your own, here's how you meet with me one-on-one. You're gonna click this right here where it says go to the appointment page for this calendar. You can then choose any of these time slots. I did half-hour time slots. Click the one that you want to meet with me. Friday, I have a whole bunch in the morning and a whole bunch in the afternoon. You click on the half an hour that you want to meet with me, read the directions because it tells you exactly what to do. And what you need to do is type in your name, and you're going to set up a Zoom meeting, and you're going to invite me to your Zoom meeting by giving me the link. Just like I've been giving you the link, you're going to set up a meeting and give me the link, okay? And then when the time comes, I will join your Zoom meeting. Here's what I don't want you to do. I do not want you to just click on a box on my Google Calendar and add an appointment for yourself. Don't do that. I need to be able to set office hours where I am set up and ready to meet with kids. And I also need time that I'm not disturbed, because this is a job for me and I have a life, believe it or not. So the office hours are set up in half-hour increments so that if you need to meet with me and you want to do a Zoom with your whole learning group, that is why the learning groups are going to be helpful. So let's say the smart boys, I assume you meant smart, the smart boys want to meet with me, then one of them will set up a Zoom meeting and they will invite me to that Zoom meeting through the calendar. I will see it on the appointments and I'll know to go there at that time. That means you don't have to email it to me. It's a way to do this virtually and you can get a hold of me really easily, okay? So one thing that's happening, and this is you, Kristen. Kristen set up a meeting and it keeps inviting me to her meeting. So Kristen needs to go back to her Zoom panel. Let me see if I have a Zoom panel that's actually working. And on her Zoom panel, I'm willing to bet when she logs on this page, whoops, except of course it signed me out. How can it sign me out when I'm literally on Zoom? On your Zoom page, it's gonna list all of your meetings, okay? So like I've got a PE meeting today at 1, I have a yearbook meeting today at 2, oh my God, a yearbook. Ugh. The yearbook's still gonna happen, by the way. Kristen, if you go to your panel and you have a meeting set up that's still happening here, click end to end that meeting forever because it keeps calling me. Can't tell you how many times I've gotten phone calls asking me to join Kristen's Zoom meeting.
I've gotten the same thing.
Okay, so Kristen, you need to end those Zoom meetings on your portal, okay, for us, please, we beg you. Okay, let's go into Flipgrid. Okay, now for the record, I have used Flipgrid before. Last year, I used Flipgrid a lot, and it is a really cool way to record videos. If you are on the Book Talk calendar, I'm refreshing my screen because I know it's not accurate right now. If you are on the Book Talk calendar, then you need to record your book talk. I'm not 100% sure I've shared the link for this yet. I will have to check PowerSchool. PowerSchool is a work in progress for me, and I keep adding things to it. I keep adding pages. But when you go on to the link, you'll be able to actually, oh, James says I have added that link. Thank you, James.
And I'm sorry that I'm lagging. There's nothing I can do about that. You can have just 2 people in a group, but 2 people generally isn't enough to troubleshoot. You could have one group where it's just 2 of you kind of working together, but you probably want to have a larger group of people so that you have more brains to pull from. More brains are better, trust me. That's why the teachers keep collaborating online, because we're talking to each other too to figure out how to make everything work. So when it is time for you to record a book talk, you need to come in here and record your book talk here. Those grades are going in the computer for this week and next week because we are finishing up the last round. So book talks are on the English 7 page. I'm going there now. On the English 7 page is book talks. The book talk calendar is here. The book talk form is here. You don't have to print it out. If you don't know it by heart yet, I'm surprised. But here's the people who are supposed to be recording this week and also next week. And then we'll move into April. I don't know that I'll continue doing the book talks into April because we have so many other things happening. I put up a page that's bored and need things to do page. I will keep adding links to this. I'm actually going to add a discussion panel to the right so that you can give me links if you find things. The March Madness poetry brackets are here now, so you can actually see where the brackets are. We're going to vote right in a few minutes here for this spot right here. Why is this not updated? I thought I updated online. This will be after second stage and still this is still We Rise. This is not accurate. Then the next voting is going to be, this is not accurate. I'm going to refresh. Let me refresh. There we go. Now it's, nope, still not accurate. What the heck? Maybe I updated it on the sheet and not on the form. Okay. Sebastian, we're still have to do March Madness, so no. I'm going to go into March Madness so that you guys can get out of here. Here's what you need to do. You need to first of all vote for Elite 8. Still We Rise. Is it still I Rise? Maybe it is still I Rise. Do I have the name wrong? I might have the name wrong. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, or After Second Shift, which is in your notebook. You need to vote for that first. Then, Kai, we might cancel those. If you already did your book talk in class, you don't have to do it again. And if your book talk's in April, past next week, don't stress about those yet. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to continue book talks with school closures. I love book talks, and I'll keep doing book talks. And you can do book talks for fun if you want. Okay, so here's what you need to do right now. You need to, first of all, vote for the Elite 8. So After Second Shift is in your notebook, and Still I Rise is on the website. Vote for one of those and go do it right now. Kai, I'm sorry you're confused. Mia, I don't know if we're going back to school on April 5th. As of right now, we have not been told that we are not going back to school, but I'll be shocked. Yes, Oswaldo, I'll do a quick overview. You're voting for Blue Note or Still We Rise? I better go look. March Madness. This isn't right. Thank you, Aiden. It should be Second Shift. Refresh it. Sorry, guys. I had that wrong. So it's Second Shift or still, it should be Still I Rise. Why in the world? Because my brain's not functioning properly either.
Go ahead and vote again, James. If you voted for Blue Note, just go ahead and vote again. If Blue Note was still up when you voted, go vote again. Sorry. And I'm typing in the chat. At the end of the meeting, after we do our second March Madness, which will not take us very long, everyone who has no questions can leave and I'll stay to answer other questions. Okay, here's what I want you to do after you finish voting for the Elite Eight. And you can do this after we go offline. The last voting for today is the March 25th stage poems, and I'm gonna make it live. And here's what I want you to do. After you sign off here, go onto the form, and when you go to the Wednesday, March 25 stage poems, it'll take you to those stage poems now. Watch the 2 videos and then vote. One of them is Phil K with a poem called Camaro, and the other is Sarah K and Phil K together doing a 2-voice poem called When Love Arrives. Watch the videos, vote for the one you like the best. And I emailed Sarah K yesterday to see if I can get her to Zoom with us. I haven't heard back from her yet. And I'm not super optimistic that she will, but if she does, that would be super cool. Okay, so if you don't have any other questions, go ahead and leave the meeting, and I'm going to allow everyone to talk. For those of you that still have questions, give me a second. I'm gonna unmute. I'm not gonna unmute everyone. I'm going to allow participants to unmute yourselves. Okay, so now if you have questions, stay. And
Bye.
You don't need to do that.
Okay.
He just can't help himself.
No, I can't. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna let people leave, and then those of you that still have questions, I'm gonna get questions answered after I grab some tissue so I can blow my nose. Okay. If you have questions, this is the time. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. You don't need to raise your hand. Let's just try to go one at a time, because otherwise it'll be chaotic. And say who you are before you talk, if you would. That would be helpful too.
Oh, it's Oswaldo. So I got cut off last time, last Monday, and I didn't get to hear parts of the homework.
Okay. Oswaldo, that's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Oswaldo, are you on Power School?
Yes.
Okay, and you see that asynchronous work, the week 1 choices menu?
In the Sequoia page?
Yes.
Yes.
That's your homework.
Okay.
No AOW.
Thank you.
No AOW. I think you still have a book talk to do. No, you did your book talk. Third period's totally done with book talk. Okay. Do me a favor, if you're not actually talking live, mute, because otherwise we get feedback from your speaker. Thanks. So that is your homework. So you choose 1 assignment from the first row and 1 assignment from the second row and 1 assignment from the third row. So you're writing a poem after you watch a video with a poet who teaches you how to write it. The lesson is literally in the video. The Kwame Alexander video is from his book that he wrote called The Right Stuff, W-R-I-T-E, The Right Stuff, I think that's what it's called. He has a whole book on teaching kids how to write poetry and then getting it published as a book, which is really cool. He actually goes into schools and he publishes books with people. I'm actually going to message him and see if he'll Zoom with us. I'm not optimistic that I'll get some of these really famous people on, but I'm going to try anyway. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? So the first is to write a poem. The second is to write a response to the Jason Reynolds video. And there's 3 prompts for that. You choose the one you want to do. And then that's the one that gets recorded on Flipgrid. And then the third one is a reading assignment. And that is basically replacing your AOW, because we will not have AOW for the rest of the year probably. I'm not doing AOW again if school's canceled. Oswaldo, does that answer all your questions?
Yes.
Great. Next.
Mason.
Hi, Mason.
I'm just a bit confused with the poem. Like, what sort of poem are you supposed to do? Do you make up a poem? Do you modify a poem? I'm just a bit confused about that.
Did you choose A, B, or C?
For the weak choice menu?
Yep.
A?
Okay, so the A poem is called an Ethery, and it is a poem where there are 10 lines. Okay, James, gotcha. There's 10 lines, and you write your poem based on the lesson. So, Mason, did you watch her video?
Not yet.
Well, that's why you don't know what you're doing. You got to watch the video.
Okay.
Trust me, dude. I know what I'm doing.
Thank you.
James, how do you put your poem on Flipgrid? You don't put your poem on Flipgrid. You put your poem on the Google slide, and the link is right underneath the poetry assignment. You type it up. For Flipgrid, you're recording your response to the Jason Reynolds video, either thanking someone or giving 3 rules for something, or I forget what the third one is.
Don't have a book talk.
Who's this?
Kai.
Hi, Kai. What's your question?
So I don't have a book talk?
No, you're done.
Okay.
But if you want to record a book talk because you read a book and you're like, hey, everybody needs to hear about this book, then do a book talk for fun. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing book talks. I didn't do one for Truth or Dare, which I've already finished, and I didn't do one for Shout. Oh my God, I just finished reading Shout for the second time. Anybody that's still here read Shout? Lori Halsey Anderson's poetry. Well, she got tested for COVID-19 yesterday, so I'm really hopeful she doesn't have it.
No, I read all of her other books, though.
Yeah, so she got tested yesterday morning. So anyway, it's great. Okay, other questions? How do we put our poem on Flipgrid? No, we answered that. What are we doing, Kristen? Kristen, are you still here? I don't know who's still here. Let me put it on gallery view. Oh, there's barely anybody here now. Oh, sweet. This is much easier. Hi, guys. Look, we can actually see each other. If you put it on gallery and you didn't already have it on there, do that. Am I still spotlighted? Cancel spotlight. Can you see everybody? Why don't you guys go ahead and unmute? There's very few of us. Now at this point, we can just talk.
Okay.
Okay, except Jarrett. Jarrett's hiding behind a, what is that? What is that creature? Okay.
Oh, I completely forgot I turned off the video.
This is a much more doable type Zoom right here with 10 people instead of 72 like we had at one point. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? Do you just want to chat? Just want to see each other's faces and say, hey!
What would be like another good way to privately message someone? Because other than Zoom and it's other than Zoom, you don't really know when people are online or not.
There's this really cool device called a cell phone.
I don't have a cell phone.
Yeah, I got nothing for you then. Mason, did you guys miss me and my jokes? Mason, they actually don't want us putting you guys in communication with each other, which I think is really stupid, because I think that this right here is really important. I think that you guys being able to see each other and interact normally needs to happen somehow, and this is the only way it can happen. So I guess Google Hangouts, you guys can't use Google Hangouts. Zoom is one way to do this. I don't know of any other good ways. I really don't. Maybe you guys have ideas.
Why do they not want us to communicate?
What's that?
Why do they not want us to communicate?
Because they don't think you're old enough and mature enough to handle it. Clearly, it's the place that we disagree. I mean, some people are kind of lame and they like say stupid things electronically. Let's be real.
Well, we
But
email each other.
I don't know.
We can't email each other the links.
I know, which is really annoying, which is why I set up that learning doc. So if you put the link on that learning doc, then the people in your group will see it and know to click the link.
Yeah.
And then if somebody joins your group that you don't want in there, kick them out. The host can.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh.
We can't email the people the link to the Zoom because
Right.
we can't email each other.
So let me show you what I want you to do. Hang on. Let me go back here and show you, Oswaldo, how to, because I get that it's tricky. Okay. So if you're on, whoops, let's see. I'm pretty sure I put that doc on English 7 as well. Yes, I did. Okay. So if you, let me write it. I'll write it in right now live so you can see what I want you to do. Power School is a nightmare. Oops. See what I mean?
How do you put your Zoom link in though?
Oh, let me show you. So on your Zoom meeting, when you click on the meeting itself, this is what you guys see, right? The web page. There's this join URL. Click
Oh.
And then you copy?
Copy that.
Oh.
And then all you do is click that. That's what I've been giving you guys is that link. And to be honest, I almost like made a video to post on Power School. Then the other teachers were like, we don't want the kids getting on Zoom and starting groups. I'm like, yeah, we do actually, but okay.
Socialization is important.
Agreed, Mason. You're so smart.
We're going crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, what else do you guys need? Hey, who wants to use the bathroom? You don't have to ask to use the bathroom. Oh, so funny. Kai, are you less confused now? Yes, no, maybe? Can't hear you.
Yes, I am less confused.
Yes, you are less confused. Great. Good. Did you guys notice my fingernails? Because no nail salon. I had to strip all my nails off. Mrs. Mathiasen did too. We were comparing fingernails this morning.
What if we miss a Zoom meeting and the teacher doesn't post it? Like I missed Mr. Cosgrove's meeting and he didn't post it.
Who didn't post what?
Mr. Cosgrove, I missed his Zoom meting because he didn't like.
And he didn't post it like I did. I'll text him and I'll ask him to post it because I have his phone number. How's that? You can email your teachers. We're all checking email. We're officially, so we're getting paid. Not that I wouldn't hang out with you just for fun because I totally would, but we're also getting paid. Okay, any other questions? Genevieve, did you like meeting Barbara Dee? Oh my gosh. Somebody's audio is weird. Bye, Kai.
How many of our books are you
I can't hear whatever somebody said. Oh, Genevieve, we don't have a boost meeting today. We had our boost meeting yesterday. I'm not meeting with Boost every day. No, I cannot take that much of Tristan or Alejandro, to be honest. And And I bet you can't either. All right. Delaney, are you good? Isabella, you good? Yeah? Just hanging out? Ian, you good? Yeah?
I miss being scared of you.
I miss you guys so much. You have no idea. I've had these times, you guys probably can totally relate to this. I have these moments where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so bored. What can I do? Is there anything I can do? Do you do that? Oh, it's torture. Thank God for social media.
I miss fighting with Isabella.
Bye.
Look at Isabella's face. Bye, Mason.
They
Right
think
here,
like
right
a family bonding. You are always fighting in English.
I will fight
Especially
you
because you talk
right
about
here,
me.
right now.
Like,
How many of you are tired of family bonding right about now? How many of you have siblings that you want to punch in the face right now? Just please go away. Don't punch them in the face. I'm not telling you to do that, but you know. I will say that my only person in my house, besides my 2 cats, is my husband, who I love dearly, and I do not want to punch him in the face. I actually love having tons of time with him. It's great. And that was not sarcasm. That was serious. Jared, I like that you're outside. Are you guys getting some exercise? Yeah. I actually went back into my home gym. Do you want to see my gym? I'll show you. You want a tour? Oh, wait. Let me show you Patches. Patches, come here. Come here, Fluffy.
Miss Jacob, we were supposed to do a TikTok together.
Oh, I'm never doing a TikTok. You know that. TikTok will never happen. But I'll show you. I'll show you some stuff. You guys get the special Mrs. Jager's house. Ignore the wine glasses. So this is what my husband and his best friend since 4th grade have been doing. They like took all the cabinet doors off and painted all the cabinets. I put that groovy backsplash up. Isn't that cool? And then, oh my God. So we're trying to sell our house, right? So all of these were like, all the light switches were really ugly. This one still has issues. That's what I've been doing. I learned how to rewire things. It's pretty cool. Not cool at all. Anyway, so this is, oh, you can see Zeus too. Okay, that fat cat is Zeus. You see him? And then this is what I actually started using. That's my elliptical that I've had forever, and I literally haven't been on it in forever. But I've been good. I spent 2 days now working out. I'm very proud of myself. That's it. Real exciting, huh? Hey, your turn. Tour. No, just kidding. I'm going to log off unless you guys have questions. Because I have 2 more Zooms I have to do today. No? Are we good? Just hanging. Nobody's even talking. No? Nothing? Okay. All right. I'm going to end the meeting then. Okay. Bye, you guys. Good to see you. Jared's frozen. Look at how frozen Jared is. Bye, guys.